Alright, so I've seen a couple of videos pop up on Hoggit and a few other discords about how to engage SHORADS, such as the SA-15 with the A-10. What you're supposed to do, kind of how you get about it, how you survive. There's kind of two methods that you would use to engage a SHORAD. The first is to leverage your Mavericks as kind of your standoff weapon. It is your only standoff weapon. And the second is to terrain mask. So the first method here is going to be using the APKWS, which is coded as a missile by ED, which means that the SA-15 will want to shoot at the APKWS. You basically use it as bait so that the Tor will fire at the APKWS instead of your Maverick or you. So here I'm going to fire off 3 of these, give them a couple of seconds in between. You probably don't need to use 3, but you can use 1 or 2, and the Tor now is probably going to be looking at the APKWS or you. So now I've just fired off the Maverick at about 8 miles. I'm going to put the Tor on my 3 line so I'm not going directly at it, just in case it manages to shoot down all those missiles and wants another snack, and I can watch from a distance. So here's the first shot. It's shooting at those APKWS because it's the closest missile that it sees. And here's the follow-up shot. The APKWS is no longer the target that it's looking at. It's trying to hit the Maverick. But it's a bit too late. The Maverick's already on its final path there and impact. Pretty safe, pretty effective. The next method is the one that I like to use because it's spicy and fun and dangerous. But essentially, instead of using the APKWS as bait, you're using yourself as bait. So you're gonna get the SA-15 to fire at you, making sure that you have a lock on it with the Maverick, and the moment you see the missile fire, you fire back. Since the SA-15 can only engage one thing at a time and it's hard locked on you, it's not going to be able to shoot at your Maverick that's heading towards it. So now I'm using kinematics to defeat the SA-15's missiles that it's fired at me. Just cutting back. It's fairly easy, they don't really have any predictive guidance or anything, and pop pop, there goes the 2 missiles that shot at me, and he's not focused on me now. I am the lower priority threat, so it's refocusing on the Maverick, and there it is trying to fire at the Maverick, but in the same situation as last time, the Maverick's already on its final attack path, and that SA-15 can't hit it. And boom, he's dead too. The next method is classic fold-a-gap vintage. You're just going to use terrain masking. You're going to be coming in low. You're going to try and get probably within about 5 miles because you don't want to give it too much time to react. You don't want to let it see you coming in and give it time to engage you or the missile you're firing. So again, here we are, we're popping up. We're at about 5 miles. We're going to get a lock on with that Maverick rifle. And the first thing that we do is not to take a look and watch that Maverick fly. We're going to get back into cover behind terrain to mask ourselves so that it cannot shoot back at me, because what good are you if you're dead, right?
Pull up.
And there's the missile launch because it's trying to defend itself against the Maverick, but the Maverick has gotten through and the SAM is dead. And the final method is essentially a rerun of the last one, but we're going to use guns instead of a Maverick. Because we're using guns, we need to get that little bit closer, within 3 miles at a minimum. So we're going to use this really small hill, and every little bit of terrain masking counts when you're doing this kind of super spicy and fun method of taking out SHORADS. I'm going to pop up, roll over, get that guy in our sights. We're right at 2 miles at the maximum range. And because I don't want to give him any opportunity, I'm just going to hold that trigger down for a good 200-300 rounds. And there he goes. That's all there is to it for fighting SHORADs in the A-10. You're pretty limited on your options, but if you make use of what you have, you can knock them out pretty effectively. Do note that all these methods take a good bit of practice.